As soon as you go
Howdy,
live,
ever.
I start
Yeah,
coughing.
we are live. Oh no. Howdy, everyone. We are live with our friend Hong Zhu. I met Hong on LinkedIn like years ago. I love his memes and his rage rate posts. And Hong is now building OnlyFans, which you can watch him land a UX design job at a top tech company. But yeah, during this live, we want to talk all things like LinkedIn. Like I know this is titled "Why Your LinkedIn Posts Suck" and how to fix them. So we can talk about LinkedIn events, community building, because Hong also hosts a lot of senior designer events in New York City. I'm personally very curious about how you cracked getting senior designers to show up at your events because they're always bombarded with like, "Can I get a job?" kind of thing, or like, "Please review my portfolio." So that's the thing I haven't been able to crack yet. No hate, no shame to anyone at all. I respect the hustle. But yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Grace. You know what's funny? You're like the only person who calls me Hong nowadays. That's actually the correct pronunciation, but I gave up like
Oh.
decades ago. So
I remember
yeah,
having coffee chat a while ago. And I think I asked you how your name was pronounced, so I just remembered.
yeah. It's well, you remember because most people just call me Hang. So I appreciate that.
Ah,
But yeah, how are you
yeah.
doing?
Vavin and Bravin, I literally just came back from a run, and my housemates were talking to me, and now I'm here. I woke up, went for a run, posted on LinkedIn, just vibing. Oh, I'm also based in LA now, and I'm trying to become an actor. Comedy stuff.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Yeah,
how's life on for you?
you're doing so much. I'm just stuck in good old tech, trying to get a tech job and being a designer. And you're doing all these things. You're like hosting community events and like doing your social media stuff and also becoming an actress. So that's awesome.
Thank
What kind of
you.
acting do you want to do?
I want to do comedy. I've always loved making people laugh. Like I actually almost got expelled in school. I'm talking this on LinkedIn when I was in middle school because I kept making jokes in class. Have you ever watched Shane Dawson, Nika Higa, Smosh on YouTube back
No,
in like the
I'm
2010s?
2010s.
Oh,
No, I
yeah.
have not. I
Oh,
haven't.
okay. Well, they have very like inappropriate jokes that I won't get into on LinkedIn. But I have that sense of humor. So whenever teachers say something, I will like make a joke. And whenever people say something, I'll just like make a joke out of it, or just make jokes based on what's happening. So I would say that's like the early days of stand up I was doing. And yeah, I don't know. I just like love entertaining people. Context for everyone who's new is I used to be a UX designer, and then I had a quarter life crisis and quit my job to travel the world for 6 months due to digital nomading. And along the way, like 5 years ago, I also built Design Buddies when I was a student before I quit my job. Decided to take a chance on myself to do a lot of random things. I don't know. People ask me what I do. I'm like, I do so many random things. Like, I do like Design Buddies. I do events. I live in a creator house in LA. I try and do acting. I make content. I love rage baiting, shit posting. Um, and I love doing art. I have a podcast as well about how creators make money. And yeah, I don't know. I do so many random things, but I'm so curious. Like, what is like taking up most of your time these days, and what made you? I remember you were a UX designer, and then you became a recruiter, and then now you're launching OnlyFans as we can watch you land a fame job.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to be a product designer, UX designer, and did that for about 10 years. And then around 3 years ago, I moved into design recruiting and have been doing that for almost 3 years now. So recently I decided to do OnlyFangs. So it's not OnlyFans, OnlyFangs, FAANG. So just to be clear, there's nothing sexual about that. It's just me trying to get a top tier design job in 6 months. So it's a short amount of time. I have to redo my portfolio, I have to upskill or reskill and really just catch up to where I used to be and also be better because the design job market is like a lot harder nowadays than it was 3 or 4 years ago. So it'll be fun. That's taking up most of my time these days because I think I'm going to be working 12-hour days, 6 days a week to make this possible. Yeah, it's hard, right? Like I don't have any big names on my resume, and I'll be targeting companies like Notion, Airbnb, OpenAI, and Anthropic. And I just like right now, if I applied, I have zero shot of getting any of these jobs. Maybe I get like a first round screener, but probably not. Like once they see my portfolio, they're just gonna pass on me. So I have to make something that's going to be really good, gets me through the first round and also on the last on-site round as well. So my work is cut out for me, ton of work, and hopefully I can get this done within 6 months. So we'll see.
You got this. I'm so curious. What is the 12 hours day? What are you spending time on for the 12 hours?
Oh yeah, so it's oh god, just grinding. Yeah, at this point, it's just grinding. Like there's no, I don't have any shortcuts to take advantage of. I'm going to have to teach myself how to do visual design at a very high level because that's basically what every single hiring manager and startup and recruiter is looking for right now. And I've never been a strong visual designer, so I have to, elevate that skill set by a lot in the 6 months. I'll probably be using Mobbin. I'll be using, whatever resources I have to make sure that I'm able to design visual stuff on the same level as, whatever these companies are cranking out, like at Airbnb and DoorDash, etc. And then after I think the first month or so of doing that, I'll start working on my portfolio as well, and that's going to take up a ton of time. And then also learn how to code because you kind of need to know how to code these days as well, and vibe design some stuff as well, and then learn how to, well, I think I'm a better interviewer than mostly because I did recruiting for a while, so hopefully that'll help. And then I'll need to still prepare for a lot of these companies because they all have very different hiring processes. But yeah, long answer, it's a ton of work. It's going to take 12 hours per day, 6 days a week. And I'll be
No, you
lucky if I
got
land a
this.
good job.
Nice, nice. I'm so curious. Like you've been posting on LinkedIn for years, and if everyone doesn't know Hong, check out his LinkedIn. There's like him and turning Trevor into a Labubu, the open to work memes, the cone of shame. I just like love all that stuff. And you have OnlyFans, which is I just love the name so much. I literally like want to make a dating app. I also vibe coded a dating app for designers. I put a poll up on our Instagram story, and 69% of designers would date each other. So I was just like, I don't know, this is a random idea, but I'm just spitballing it out here. I feel like OnlyFans is a good name for a dating app for people only in Fang. Instead of your height, you can put your level, and your stats, you can put your total comp.
L4, you're
And so if you're
L5.
L4, yeah, you can choose to only match with other L4s, L5s. Yeah, I feel like this would really pop on LinkedIn. I feel like that's a good name for like OnlyFans. It's like a dating app for Fang only. It would rate rate so hard on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that'd be a really good idea. I do think there is room for a new dating app these days because I mean, I haven't used a dating app in years. And another point, my wife is also a designer. I don't, take that as you will. So maybe there is some correlation between designers being attracted to each other. Yeah, I hope you make a dating app. I think it's kind of tongue in cheek, but they absolutely will use it. Oh, by the way, there was trying to remember which company had it. There were, is it Bloomberg? No, it's another company. They have an internal dating app within like in their intranet. So yeah, I guess it works. Like a company has to be that big, and like maybe I'm misremembering because I feel like that's just an HR violation. but but yeah, I guess that can kind of work, right? Like where else would you meet people if you're working like 10-hour days?
Yeah, I agree. Oh, thanks y'all for 60 of y'all for tuning on LinkedIn. I see our friends here. We have Ivan, we have Alan, we have Kathy, howdy,
Oh, Kathy,
Oliver.
you're on LinkedIn Lunatics. I saw that post.
Oh my
She's
God,
Yeah,
congrats!
she was featured on LinkedIn Lunatics because people were making fun of her for quitting her $200,000 a year job to do content creation, and everyone's like ripping into that, like you're not gonna make that much money as a content creator. If you're making 200K in tech, you stay there, you never leave. And it's all like it's I can see where they're coming from, but it's all perspectives for sure.
Yeah, Kathy's one of my good friends. Like, she was one of our first 100 members of Design Buddies too, and she was also part of our content creator house in LA back in April. And yeah, really proud of Kathy for quitting her job. And congrats on making a LinkedIn Lunatic. That's like one of my life goals. I don't think I've made it on yet. Um,
I made it on once a year ago.
Congrats!
Thank you. It was my proudest moment because like out of all the things I've done on LinkedIn, like I've had more viral posts happen or I've gotten like, cool things come out of it. but that was my proudest moment because I made up.
What
I
was
made a. It was a layoff. You were in it
oh
actually. It was a
yeah, I
layoff
remember I
meetup.
searched my name on LinkedIn Lunatics and it showed up in the screenshot. That's how I know. I was like, yay, I'm on LinkedIn Lunatics.
Yeah, because somebody mentions like why is Grace Ling getting less money? Is it because she's a woman? I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. That is accurate. I'm glad they caught on.
So real, so real. Yeah, LinkedIn user. I don't know why your name's showing up, but we should pronounce fangs like how your name is usually pronounced. Fangs. Fangs. Yeah, oh,
Oh
fang.
yeah, in
Oh,
Pinyin,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so
Oh,
in Chinese,
yeah.
Pinyin, like A is like O basically. So it's actually not hang, it's hong. And Fang would have been Fong, which would be pretty funny actually if you think about it.
Hmm.
It's kind of like how Chinese
Yeah.
people pronounce Harvard and Yale in Chinese, and it just sounds
Harvard.
hilarious. Yeah,
Harvard.
Harvard.
哈佛。
Yeah, Yale.
很好，很好，太好了，对啊。Oh, Alan, you can't find a Labubu. The links I went to find my daughter a Labubu here in Munich. Well, you're a good dad for finding a Labubu for your daughter.
I don't know. I don't know what Labubus are. I see them once in a while, and they kind of freak me out a bit.
They're gambling for kids, like blind boxes. It's
Oh,
gambling for
okay.
kids.
I thought they were like
Hmm.
trolls. You remember? I don't know. Okay,
No, they
you're
come into a
younger than
store
I
called
am.
Pop Mart. No, they're all over LA. A lot of people have them. A lot of creators have them. Um, there's a store called Pop Mart from China. It was designed by an artist from Hong Kong, and it's like I have one right here actually.
It's so freaky looking.
Just
Why is that?
sleeping
Why does it
by
have
me.
swollen eyebrows?
I don't know. It is like 3D, but and they come in blind boxes. So people want like a super. It could be a super rare Labubu, but you get like one of six or one of 10, and it just people just keep buying them until they get the one they want, and they can resell for
Oh
like two, three times the value on
God,
eBay
it's like
in
loot
secondary market.
boxes. No, do you remember
Hmm.
Beanie Babies?
Yeah, they're like McDonald's toy, or they were like, and they were
Oh
like the
my
early
God.
NFTs.
Oh my God, you have no idea. You weren't here. I think it was like it was like either late 90s or early 2000s. There was like a huge craze for Beanie Babies. They were like $2 or $3 each. And then there were a few Beanie Babies that were worth a shit ton of money. So there were like parents who were like hoard and buy Beanie Babies and then they like totally dipped. And people end up with like tens of thousands of Beanie Babies in their home worth absolutely nothing. And like I read a book about this guy whose parents were so into it that they would like take all the kids and like drive from store to store to pick up like the rare Beanie Babies, and they were waiting in line, and that was his childhood, and he was like really angry at his parents for making him do that. Yeah,
Wow, yeah,
Ivan,
that was a
I
time when I just were born.
yeah,
But I
this is
remember
before you were
getting
born.
some McDonald yeah, but I was getting like McDonald toys, Beanie Babies, and they're like the early 2000s, the mid 2000s.
Oh, you
It was
missed
like
out on
after
the
the
craze.
yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah, that
I
was the
remember like people
OG.
referencing Beanie Babies during the NFT era, which I got sucked into.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a scam. Beanie Babies was a complete scam. Same with NFTs. So
and
yeah,
maybe Labubus? I don't know.
um,
Eh,
I would
right?
say yeah, it's probably a scam.
Yeah. It's kind of growing on me. Well, yeah, it's kind of growing on me though. I don't know. I also got a Tamagotchi recently. I just hooked.
Oh, wow. I remember begging for a Tamagotchi when I was back in elementary school. So this would have been like early or mid 90s. And I convinced my parents to get me one because I was like, I will learn how to be responsible. It'll teach me how to like take care of a pet or a kid in the future. So you should invest in this.
Mm.
And they did. And my Tamagotchi did not last very long.
Ah,
Yeah, but that's so
yeah,
cool. You have one.
I was the impulse buy on Amazon. It was like $30, and I bought me and my
$30.
boyfriend one too, so we can like connect on the Tamagotchi just for
They
fun.
connect
I just
now?
thought of it one day. Yeah, they have infrared. They have Connect. This is actually a version 3. I actually almost flunked elementary school, and my parents had to bribe me with Tamagotchi, so I didn't flunk elementary school. But now I'm an adult with free will. I can buy all the Tamagotchis I want.
Are you close to your parents now?
They have no idea what I do.
Good. Keep it that way.
I don't even know what I do either.
Yeah, it's
I'm just vibing, fucking around,
yeah.
honestly. I'm just vibing.
Have you ever had to explain to your parents what you did as a designer in Chinese?
I know design Chinese is 设计,
Yeah,
and
but
then
user,
设计团 is design community.
do you know about how to say UX designer?
No, how do you say UX designer in
It's
Chinese?
super long. 用户体验设计师.
用户体验设计师.
Literally, it's like the experience of the users design. It's like word
Hmm.
for word. So literal.
Damn. I
Yeah.
know.
Anyway, we
中文，
should
中文很好。
yeah. Okay. But your
Let's
Chinese
switch
is
back
better
to
than my
English, right?
Chinese, actually. All right, we should probably move on
Oh,
to the real topic of why people are here for.
yeah. So LinkedIn, I don't like I love like all the comments. We can go through all the questions we got too. Thank you all for tuning in. Yeah, LinkedIn. So, how did you why like post I want to dive into like LinkedIn. What made you start posting on LinkedIn? Because I feel like so many people in this day still think LinkedIn is cringe, but I feel like being cringe, but I feel like what's more cringe is caring about what other people think about you. But just tell me about like why you got started posting on LinkedIn and how has it been going for you?
Yeah, so I started posting on LinkedIn around 3 years ago, and I started because I was having problems sleeping. When I have problems sleeping, I tend to fall asleep on the couch around like 9 or 10, and then I would wake up around 2 or 3, and then I would just like be up and doing stuff, and then I would fall back asleep around 4 or 5, and then wake up at like 9 or 10, or 8 or 9, depending on if I work or not. So I would wake up and I would start writing stuff, and LinkedIn is great in terms like it's the only social media platform where you can write long form content, right? Like you can't do that on X, you can't really do that on Instagram or YouTube. So because I like to, write out all my thoughts, all the challenges I was having at work, and like why I was like struggling as a designer, it just kind of helped me organize my thoughts, really helped me, process certain things. And I didn't really go into it thinking that I would become a content creator at any point. It was just like, okay, I want to write this out, and then maybe this will be fun to share. And also, well, not fun to share, but like I imagine other people are dealing with something similar, and maybe it'll be good to chat with people about the same things. And this is a good way to propagate that information or my thoughts. And I think some of my first few posts did really well. Like it it didn't go viral or anything, but it had like 1,000 likes and a few hundred comments. So it it was cool. Like I got to meet a bunch of people that I didn't know, and it helped me get a better understanding of why I was struggling and like what the environment was like. And part of the issue that I was having at the time was that I struggled at work a lot. Not in terms of like I couldn't do the work, like I could always do the work well and at a high level. It was just like me not understanding why was my PM acting this way, why was there no strategy, why is there no roadmap, and why does it feel like C-level doesn't know what they're doing, right? But like not having those perspectives was mostly due to the fact that I only worked at a few companies up to that at that point, right? Like you only change companies every few years, and your career you might end up working for like 5 to 10 companies your entire career. So at that point, I only been at 3 or 4 companies, so I didn't really have the wide ranging perspective that I needed to process and understand how to navigate a lot of things. And when you write on LinkedIn, you got to see other people's perspectives as well, which helped me put mine into perspective and also just to see that what I was facing wasn't unique.
What was your first LinkedIn post that got 1,000 likes?
Um, hmm. I think I wrote about the job funnel, like how most people were trying to. I think most people, when they think about looking for jobs, they tend to think about how they try to like index for getting, well, to avoid being rejected, right? Like they want to get to the next round, they want to get the call back and stuff. And instead I was saying you shouldn't be thinking about your win rate, you should be thinking about the amount of time you spend in order to get to the next round. So I think at the time the advice was generally you should spend as much time as you need per application to increase your chances. And I was arguing that you should just, send out as many applications as you can and then see how that works. Like, you send out, if you spend like an hour filling applications and you did like, say 20 applications, if you get like 2 callbacks, that's pretty good, right? Versus you spending an hour to submit like, say, 5 applications and you get 1 callback, that wouldn't be as good. So, back then that made sense. I don't think that works nowadays because the market has changed quite a bit. But I would say like 3, 4 years ago, um, yeah, probably like 4 years ago, it was more, you could definitely like, I want to say spam, but you could send out more applications in order to get callbacks and stuff. And I think the other one I wrote was about how Oracle and not Workday, it was like another tool that Oracle owned that was just really awful to use, but it it had a really bad interface and bad user experience, but it's like worth $20 billion. And that kind of helped me see that maybe design wasn't as important as I thought it was, because there are plenty of really successful companies out there that have bad design but are able to create massive shareholder value. And that's typically how people think about it. Like, if you're not a designer, you tend to see things that way. And it helped me to understand how others might perceive design and how I should be selling to them or trying to convince them of certain things.
I feel like posting on LinkedIn is a great way to get user research about who you might be working with in the industry.
Uh,
Kind of, or
yeah.
kind of, it's like a vibe check, kind of.
I think people use LinkedIn for different reasons. For me, it was very much just to help me process my thoughts and my writing. But when people say LinkedIn is cringe and it's weird and stuff, like, it is true. Like, LinkedIn, out of all the social media platforms, it's the weirdest one, because you're asking people to like talk about work and careers and professional stuff, but that's not entertaining. Like, you have to somehow combine all these things together, and oftentimes people write really weird stuff. But that doesn't have to be you. Like, you don't have to write the same way everybody else does. And I think if you spend enough time and effort on it, you start to find your group of people who have the same sense of humor or the same goals and ideas, and can avoid all the junk that's out there about how, what some random weird thing taught you about B2B sales, for example.
Yeah, there's so many of that. How do you feel like the vibe on LinkedIn has shifted over the years since you started posting on it? I feel like people used to think LinkedIn's a place to flex, like, oh, I'm excited to announce I got a software engineering role at Fame Company. Look at me, I'm better than all of you, kind of vibe. But I feel like I've been seeing a lot more memes, a lot more like storytelling, a lot of people sharing their vulnerable experiences on LinkedIn. But curious to hear from your perspective, how have you seen LinkedIn, the posts and like the culture of LinkedIn change over the past couple of years?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, and I actually really love that it's changing. So one data point that I like to point to very often is, prior to COVID, people would get laid off and they would never talk about it on LinkedIn. They would never, pre-COVID, nobody would ever say, I was just laid off today by Microsoft or by Salesforce. They would never mention it. They would just quietly pretend they're still working there, and then they would start looking for jobs and stuff. They would never publicly announce it. And then when the mass layoffs came around during COVID, people started posting about it, and a lot of these posts went viral, and it became kind of a strategy. Like, second you get laid off from a company, you create a post talking about how you were laid off and how you're looking for a new job and how you need help. And that's kind of how the open to work banner came about, which to me is kind of a joke because I don't think it's that effective. However, what I do appreciate is that nowadays it's socially acceptable for people to talk about being laid off, and how there's very little shame in it because now it's normal. Like, it's happened to everyone. And I think that is really important. Like, we should not be associating shame with people being fired or laid off. And I appreciate that we're moving toward that. And also, I do kind of like that, there is some more memes and stuff on LinkedIn. I don't think, like, a lot of people are saying this is a professional networking platform, blah, blah, blah. It's true. It is a professional networking platform in many ways, but professionalism is very much a cultural thing. It's like how you define it. Like, as long as you're not doing something illegal, you're not making anybody uncomfortable, you're not hurting other people. I personally think you can talk about as much personal stuff as you want and make it as fun, entertaining as you would like. But that's just me, right? Like, I do feel like we're shifting toward a more socially acceptable environment for LinkedIn, which I really like, even though recently there's been more of a pushback. There's more of like an anti woke, whatever the fuck that means,
Mm.
happening in our country. And you can start to see how that's reflected on social media, unfortunately.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen that anti-woke thing or as well, whatever that means too.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't get what that means. It's whatever.
It's like the opposite. I don't know. I don't get into it that much, but yeah, I like where LinkedIn in general, like directions heading towards just like sharing like how I got laid off. I've seen a lot of people do that. A lot of layoff posts do really well. So yeah, I'm also curious to hear from everybody else tuning in. How have you seen LinkedIn posts? How have you seen the culture of LinkedIn change over the last couple of years? And where do you think it's heading? And what kind of posts do you enjoy consuming the most on LinkedIn? And can I show people your LinkedIn post Tom, that I really
Sure.
like?
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks. I would
cool.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I just like want to talk because they're so amazing. Okay, let me share.
Yeah, everyone, if you have any questions, talk about LinkedIn, whatever you like, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So I actually have this plugin that tells me like what your top posts are. Um, I feel like the one post that the kind of post that really stuck out to me was the open to work t-shirt. Like you mentioned, like if LinkedIn had a swag store, I'm gonna zoom into this. I just like love this so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very,
I would totally wear that shirt if that was available. And
hmm
my wife who worked in fashion, I asked her like, "Can you help me make this?" And she's like, "Why? Nobody would ever wear this." And I'm like, "I would totally wear that." Like you totally need
Yeah.
something like that when you're out and about and looking for work.
Yeah, as Trevor mentioned, I couldn't communicate my destination in real life until I got this T-shirt. Wore it to a tech meetup and had three recruiters point and laugh at me. See, sometimes you just gotta signal that you're open to work, everyone.
Yeah, I actually, there are a lot of talks about how effective open to work banners are. And God, there's definitely like I don't agree that it looks desperate or anything. Like all jokes aside, I do think being clear about looking for work is helpful for people. I do wish that LinkedIn made open to work banners a little bit more effective because it's it's something that they created or they like made it during COVID and then they just never improved upon it in any way, shape, or
How
form.
do you think? What do you think is wrong with open to work banner right now, and how do you think it can be improved?
Yeah. So open to work from a LinkedIn perspective is that it would allow candidates to broadcast the fact that they are currently open to work because on LinkedIn you have three different options to select from. One which is you're not open to work, right? And then the second option is you're open to work but that is only viewable by other recruiters outside of your company. So for most people, they select that. They're saying, I'm open to work. So when recruiters search for candidates, they can put in a toggle to say, prioritizing candidates who are currently looking for work. And that puts it up there. So if you're not aware, LinkedIn Recruiter is the tool that's on the other side of LinkedIn that most of us don't see because most of us are seeing the consumer side of things, the like the social media side of it. LinkedIn Recruiter is the like I would say $1,000 or $2,000 per month tool that recruiters use to search for candidates. It's very expensive and it's very effective. It's probably the most powerful and most used tools by talent acquisition folks like recruiters like me, like hiring managers when they're looking for people. So with the open to work banner, their goal was to help hiring managers who didn't have LinkedIn recruiter licenses to quickly identify people who are open to work, which is admirable, right? Because they're kind of undercutting their own profit margin in order to help people get more work, which is commendable. But at the same time, it's not super effective, and also people are now associating with it shame and also embarrassment and like desperation and all those negative connotations. And it's not great because, to be honest, like if you're looking for work, oftentimes you are kind of desperate, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but people are looking down on that. And like I have talked to recruiters, unfortunately, and I don't agree with this, who believe that the best talent are the ones who are not currently open to work. Like you have to poach them from somewhere else, which is, in my opinion, not always true. And also, if you're a talent with open to work banner on, then you're probably not highly skilled or highly coveted, right? And I don't think that's correct either. So, yeah, I just kind of wish that LinkedIn, when they made this feature, this banner back in COVID, which probably took them only a few hours to do, would build on top of it and actually create more useful features from it, because there is potential for something like this. Yet they're not investing whole lot in this. Instead, they're investing in like LinkedIn Games, like all these other tools that I personally don't use. But what do I know? Like I don't have the data from their side.
Oh yeah, I talked to a product manager at LinkedIn, and they said LinkedIn Games is to help you for team bonding. Um,
That's very aspirational.
I
That is
played
extremely
LinkedIn
very
Games the
hopeful.
first time. It was actually really fun. You can see what your connection scored too. It's
Oh,
kind of addicting. It's like, yeah.
whenever I'm working somewhere, my current coworkers are the last people I want to associate with or talk to on LinkedIn. Like that is not where I want to be chatting with you, because I already see you on Slack or I see you in person, and I have to deal with you like 40 to 60 hours per week. I don't want to see you on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is for like chatting with, friends like you, or like people
Mm.
that I want to get to know, not my current coworkers. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, low-key agree. What do you, I know LinkedIn, this is like something I've learned. I did not sign an NDA. They didn't give me an NDA for this, but LinkedIn is, so for earlier this year, LinkedIn were really pushing video. So I have like 50K followers on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, 52K or something like that. And a lot of my videos got, my top one got 75 million views. And a
Yeah.
bunch of others got over 10 million views, like millions of views for like 50,000 followers, which is really awesome, like Mr. Beast level views and stuff. Um, they're really pushing videos and algorithm. But recently, like I've seen a lot of more ads on LinkedIn, a lot more sponsored posts, and my videos have gotten just like 10,000, 5,000 views compared to like millions of views, which is pretty
Yeah.
sad. Have you seen, like there's also like on the mobile app, there's like a videos tab with trends. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Hong. So there's this video tab, there's this video tab
Yeah.
and um you see this like, so basically like on the phone there's like a video tab here, and then
Yeah.
you can see trends. There's like trends, right? So you can scroll through to see trends. So for example, Cracker Barrel rebrand, Tesla diner, like you're supposed to like mix up signs to quit, work besties, severance pay, deep fake job application, Gen Z slang, rethinking meetings, cringy corporate jargon. So like Gen Z stare. Um, what even is that? Like, so I heard if you like add to this trend, if you click add to this trend, make a video, the LinkedIn editorial team will look through it, and if they like it, feel like it's relevant, they will push your videos, and that's why videos who don't get selected on this trend and don't get added and selected on this trend are getting less views. I've also heard that LinkedIn, I forgot the name of this, but they're testing like a brand link program. I think it's
Yeah.
called Brand Link, where they have 30 creators, like super, super big creators, testing out like an AdSense, like a shared ad revenue for their videos,
Oh God.
and inflating their views and giving less views to all of us little plebes here. I don't know, like what are your thoughts on all this? I really talk to them. No hate to me. I love LinkedIn. Like I will still post on LinkedIn. I still post videos on LinkedIn, but that is what I learned from talking to LinkedIn staff at a conference.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I would say there is a ton of rumors and conjectures when it comes to how LinkedIn's algorithm works and how you can like boost your post or whatever. And I would say the vast majority of people who are talking about this are just guessing, because unless you're a PM or a developer working on LinkedIn's core product and you have access to the algorithm, you're just guessing, and you probably don't have enough data and you don't have enough information to conclusively say anything about how all this stuff works. Uh, there has been quite a bit of talk recently about how your engagement metrics are going to have been falling in the last several months. Like, people are saying, I'm getting 20% less views than I did a year ago. And I kind of experienced the same to some extent. I do feel like the algorithm's constantly changing. It's not clear how they do it. It's very much a black box. And my thinking around this right now is that it doesn't really matter, because one, you have zero control over it, and you also don't really know if it's working or not, because again, you don't have access to the algorithm. You're just talking about it from a very anecdotal perspective without much, sample size. You're Because none of us really post that much. Like, I post every day now, and I still don't think that I have enough of you know a grasp on how all this stuff works. I'm just guessing most of the time. Now, the
Hmm.
other thing I believe in is that if you get sucked into the algorithm stuff, like if you do X, Y, and Z, and then you get more posts, you get more engagement, whatever, it's very easy to fall into that. And then you kind of lose sight of why you started to create content to begin with. Like, are you having fun? Are you meeting your business goals? Because all the engagement metrics are just vanity metrics. Like, you getting 1,000, a million views doesn't actually give you any money. Like, this is not Instagram or TikTok where you get paid per impression or engagement. In On LinkedIn, you get paid nothing. I've never received a check from LinkedIn. So like, what's the point? Like, I know people who like Lex Roman, they don't post that much, and their posts don't get a fraction of the engagement that I would get from my LinkedIn account. But there are definitely months where they earn more money than I do, because they are able to convert that engagement and views into business, where oftentimes a lot of my posts don't actually lead to anything because I don't have a product to sell. So all of that doesn't make any sense. And the other thing I also want to mention is that I looked through some of my first few posts when I started posting, when I only had like 5,000 followers or so, or probably fewer, probably like less than 5,000. Like, I had maybe 1 or 2,000 connections at the time. And a lot of my early posts had higher numbers than my posts nowadays for whatever reason. And that tells me a few things. One, it's LinkedIn's algorithm doesn't actually give you much of an advantage when you have, say, 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50,000 followers. It's not like if you have 10,000 followers and I have 50,000, it doesn't mean that 5 times more people see my content versus your content at all. I actually don't know what the main advantage is, besides to say like, oh, I have 50,000 followers, easier to get sponsors that way or whatever. But I truly believe that if you're creating good content and you know how to engage with other people, even if you have 1,000 or 2,000 followers, you can get as much traction as somebody with, say, 30, 50, or 100,000 followers. There's definitely, I think the numbers help to a certain degree, but it's not like a requirement that a lot of people think it is. So yeah, it's not the way people think it is oftentimes. Like, I think people assume a lot about content creation and like building an audience and stuff. Again, we don't really have access to the algorithm. Like, I don't really know how it works. I can just look at, the previous posts I made and maybe draw a few assumptions overall, but that's really it.
Yeah, I agree with all of it basically. Like a lot of my posts that when I just had like 2,000 followers probably did also decently well. Like some of them got like over 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
And it was all about like as I also low key feel like I was more relatable back then because I was a W-2 designer and most people on LinkedIn are W-2 um designers. So I cater and I post a lot about like how to get a job or like how I got my internship. Um and people like love that kind of content. And then when I stopped posting that, I feel like a lot of people were actually complaining to me about how they see that I don't give a shit about like designers anymore, basically, because I stopped posting design content. Anyway, that was the whole like existential life crisis I had like, over the past couple of weeks. I reflected on it a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I also like how you mentioned that posting on LinkedIn, you don't get paid for it at all. You get paid. I feel like how you make money on LinkedIn is the leads you get, like what Lex did, what Lex does. Um, and I feel like posting on LinkedIn is still really valuable, even though LinkedIn doesn't pay you, is because of the people you meet. Like we both met on LinkedIn, and all the friends you make along the way. And I met so many of my sponsors. I do a lot of brand deals on LinkedIn that honestly pay the most out of any other platform too. So like get paid through like the connections you meet, because most people who hang out on LinkedIn are people with keys to the money. They're like marketing managers,
Yeah.
recruiters, hiring managers. So the more you post on LinkedIn, the more you increase your surface area of luck to be seen by those people to give you opportunities. So just because LinkedIn doesn't pay you, it's not useless. It's like really, really valuable actually to post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if you have 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, 100,000 followers on TikTok, that 100K followers on LinkedIn is worth way more
Mhm.
because TikTok is used by everyone, right? Like all sorts of demographic across the world. And LinkedIn typically, depending on who you engage with and like your area of expertise and what you write about, oftentimes you can get people who are want making more money and who are more senior, are further along in their career. And from the perspective of a sponsor or a brand, they're going to put more stock into that, right? So especially a B2B brand who is ideally selling to like a VP or director level role on the, say design or marketing or wherever side. And LinkedIn is going to be it's much more likely that you'll be reaching out to these folks, decision makers, versus somebody who's on TikTok. So I get
Mhm.
it, but at the same time, I would say it's also harder to build an audience on LinkedIn versus elsewhere because of the expectation of the kind of content that you have to write. And to be honest, a lot of content on LinkedIn, it's kind of hard to write. It's kind of unnatural versus, other social media platforms I think we're more attuned to.
Yeah, like LinkedIn poetry, like all the little sentences right in
There's
brackets.
Yeah, I mean, there is, to be honest, there is a ton of really bad content on LinkedIn, and maybe we can make the assumption that there is more, like a higher percentage of bad content that we don't want to see on LinkedIn versus other social media platforms. And I think part of it is also because other platforms have a more mature or more robust algorithm. Like you know, on Instagram, it, that's the only other platform I use, but only personally. Like I post Polaroids on it, and I have two dogs, a Pomeranian and a poodle, and my Instagram feed is just like puppies, and it's really good at doing that. And I don't think LinkedIn is as good at doing that as say Instagram or TikTok, for sure.
Mhm. What to you makes a bad LinkedIn post and a good LinkedIn post?
Okay, that's a great question. So it all depends. Like, some people, we all like different things, right? Like for me, the posts that I really dislike are the ones that make me angry. So anything to do with fascism right now probably will make me
Mm.
pretty angry. I would want to avoid that. I think generally people are annoyed with cringy LinkedIn B2B kind of posts like, you know, my kid got sick and this is what it taught me about B2B sales. And LinkedIn poetry, they call it broetry, right? Because there are a bunch of like these guys who are, and to be fair, women too, who are just like, I made it. I'm making a ton of money at my role on LinkedIn, and I'm gonna brag about it. And this is how you can do it too. So pay me money, and then I'll teach you my ways or whatever. And yeah, it's like crappy marketing, right? Like people don't actually understand how to market their services and products on a social media platform like LinkedIn. You don't need to talk about these things. A lot of it is like you need to be able to demonstrate it. You need to be able to build relationships. And I think people miss that. They think LinkedIn is a marketing platform when it's very much a connection and like a relationship building platform.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. The LinkedIn poetry, fascism, cancel that. B2B sales, everything's B2B sales.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I guess, maybe a good question is like how do you write good LinkedIn content that is in line with your beliefs or, your interests? And I think that's a really important thing. And I think it all really comes down to your goals. Like people write on LinkedIn for different reasons. Like I don't really write on LinkedIn for business. I write about, design and design maturity and like what I was facing at work and that helped me process things. So that's how I enjoy LinkedIn. And to me, that's like what matters. And if that's what you want to write about, like whatever it is you want to write about, as long as you feel like it's helping you process things, helping you understand things, helping you connect with other people who are like minded, then go for it. Like it's not about pleasing everyone, right? And I think we start to fall into the trap of trying to please everyone and trying to write stuff that people expect us to write, then it becomes very, joyless. And also you end up writing things that are not really connected to you. You're kind of acting as a marketer in some ways. And you have to ask yourself if that's worth it or not. Like, what are you getting out of doing something like that? Then it becomes kind of like a job.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's like I feel like catering to your specific target audience and not writing in a way that caters to the masses and like following LinkedIn posts. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean you should do it. Just because I feel like LinkedIn's quality over quantity, just especially the people who view your posts. So just because like you don't get like 1,000 likes doesn't mean it's like a bad post. It's still a good post if it reaches the right people. Like at least for me, like a metric of success is if someone reaches out to me saying that they really like my post and they resonate with it, like specifically,
Yeah.
then that's a win for me. Yeah. Oh, your mic is
Yeah.
muted.
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I've definitely met some really cool people through LinkedIn. And I would say a lot of these posts, I mean, a lot of these connections I met not because I wrote some marketing junk. It's because I wrote something that resonated with them, that felt, it made them feel like I would understand or empathize with the challenges they're going through as well. And that's helped me a lot as well, because now I can see how other people are dealing with similar issues and what we can learn from each other and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's really important that you write stuff that's important to you and not try to fall into the patterns that other people like that you see on LinkedIn, because just because it's working for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to be working well for you. You're muted.
I
Your
realized I was
turn.
muted. Yes, I want to show our buddies more of your LinkedIn posts. There's some I really love, like the open to work, getting to mitosis. I know we were talking about that earlier. Let me share my screen. I have a plugin that tells me like the top posts. I use that to like stalk other creators sometimes, just to see.
Yeah,
It's a
you know how Trevor used to build? He used to have Clio, but it
Clio.
got shut
Yeah,
down.
yeah. I just like gonna scroll through some of her recent posts. I freaking love like the Trevor body pillows with Nielsen Norman. This is so lovely. I need to like
Yeah.
oh I hearted it. Yes, I loved it. Um,
Yeah. I don't think Jakob Nielsen or Jacob Nielsen would appreciate this post. And I don't think Trevor liked it either. But you know what? It was fun to make. So I have fun making this. Definitely not going to
it
get
is
me a job,
so
though.
yeah, the Labubos.
Yeah,
I
Trevor
love
is a
atomic
Labubu.
Trevors. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
I just love your stuff. The open to work, we even unpaid for so long that the banner collapses into own shame and forms a black hole where no self-respect can escape.
Yeah, that's from
You're gonna love it
Interstellar.
too.
That's from
Ah,
Interstellar, which was fun.
yeah. OnlyFans. I want to talk about OnlyFans too, but I also saw some I really like the open to work banner gets larger and larger the longer you're unemployed. Um, there's the mitosis one. That was so long here. I'm trying to undergo cell division.
Okay,
I was a
so
final engineering major, so I really appreciate
go
this.
back up to the chicken McNuggets one. That's one of my favorites.
Which one? The chicken.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, we open it. Oh yes, I saw this one too. The It's a consolation prize.
Yeah, that's my
This
fantasy.
is
Like, if
lovely.
whenever I get rejected for a job, they would feed me. That would make me feel a lot
Hmm.
better.
Hmm. It reminds me of like I love Soren Iverson.
Yeah. Soren is wonderful, and sorry, excuse me. Yeah, Soren's wonderful. He does really great satirical posts on both X and on LinkedIn as well. I feel like he's more focused on the mobile platform, and I'm really more focused on B2B stuff because to me that's like cringier.
Yeah, oh, I love his content too. Because I noticed you used to do like Workday, like the fractional layoff one you made on LinkedIn Lunatic with me, and it like fractionally laid me off.
Yeah, that's
Like that one.
yeah, like first of all, you have to remember that Soren makes a single mock-up every single day. I think for the last
Mhm.
2 or 3 years. Which to me is insane. Like I don't know how he does it, but I would not be able to keep up with that kind of volume. I can maybe make one like once a week. He does it every single day. And so that takes a ton of creativity for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, shout out to Soren. It's moldy now. I don't know. I just feel like I like love your the cone of shame.
Oh
I
yeah,
love your beef with Trevor.
thank you. You know,
And
that
I think
cone of
he punched
shame.
back.
The cone of shame. I did not use AI. I made that in Photoshop bit by bit. So yeah, I don't. Well, no, I have used AI before, but mostly not as like an image generator. Yeah, this took
Mm,
way too long to make. I actually bought Photoshop for this because Figma doesn't let you wrap text in that way.
this is really beautiful though.
Thank
I
you.
would get that for my dog if I had a dog. But I know
Can we?
you feature Trevor a lot in your posts. I recently saw a post on from Trevor. Oh my God, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Open to twerk. I actually used that as my profile photo for a day or
It
two.
got almost 2,000 likes.
I know. Yeah, he did. He did. He did go on here.
This is
I'll give
so
him
good.
that. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I love this so much.
Yeah, good old
I'm
Trevor.
just, I don't know why I know so much about Trevor. I just see it all the time on my LinkedIn. It makes me laugh every
Yeah,
time.
I've actually never met Trevor face to face, unfortunately.
Oh. Oh yeah, the Coldplay meme. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
That was a really crazy time on LinkedIn.
it was. Oh wait, I also made a meme about that too. Um, I've made this one. Yeah, I'm just
Oh
gonna leave this
no.
here.
Oh no, got caught using
Oh
ADP
no,
list.
okay, wait, I remember like you made a post. Wait, this is one of my favorite posts actually about you making a video about ADP list. That was like one of my personal favorites. But I feel like I shouldn't go down this whole on live.
Yeah, I mean that was. I guess we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, we can. I mean,
Yeah,
like this is you guys. Like there's like 100 people watching us right now across all our platforms, and it and I feel like everyone has stayed for so long. If you've been here for the past 55 minutes, then you've gotten to know us a bit more. So like, yeah, why the beef? Uh, oh man, I'm trying to say this in like probably should I don't know. Should I spell this on
you know,
LinkedIn?
I'll say it. I'll
No.
talk about it so that it's
Yes.
on me. Okay, so there's a Slack channel made by Tommy Joko for content creators or design content creators on LinkedIn and other platforms, and it's a really nice chat, like a Slack space where we often talk about content creation. We trade tips and whatever. Sorry, like I like drank water the wrong way, but anyway, so we're often talking, and then around like 2 or 3 years ago, people started complaining about how Felix Lee, who's the CEO of ADP List, would be stealing content from other content creators. Like he would just copy it word for word, put his name on it, and not give any credit at all. And he had taken Lex's blog post, like rewritten it, and then of course, he linked back to them. But at the same time, it was like, you didn't ask permission, and Lex spent hours writing this, and you're using this as your marketing material for your startup. which wasn't very cool. And also, it didn't really create anything of value for Lex because their target audience and customer base is very different from ADP lists. Like they have zero interest in uh, designer mentees or even design mentors, to be honest. So, that sucked. And we just kind of started seeing this pattern month after month of like Felix just stealing people's content for like no reason. And eventually it just got like really annoying. So we all started to talk about it. It was kind of more concerted effort because he has spent like years just stealing from people without any repercussions. Like basically nobody ever called him out on it really, and like there was no penalties for him. He just created a ton of value for himself. Like I would say tens of thousands of followers definitely came from these stolen posts, and he's creating all this. He's like getting all paid and all his money from it, and he's not compensating anybody. So it just I think more and more of us start talking about it, and eventually it got to a critical point where the conference that he was going to be speaking at finally removed him. Fortunately, like they should have done that from the very beginning, but it was like one small thing that made us feel like, okay, maybe the universe is all right. Like finally, there's a little bit of repercussion for all this theft. Because if you're a content creator, like having your stuff stolen is like the worst because you're spending so much time, energy creating content, oftentimes for very low money or very low compensation. And then you're seeing somebody else who's making all this money just jack it and then, get the best from it. So it sucks because when you're creating content, also, you don't really know which post is going to go viral. Like maybe you have a sense, but oftentimes you don't. And you don't really have a choice. Like obviously every single post I write, I think, oh, this is a good post, it's going to do pretty well. And then maybe 1 out of 30 or 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 100 is going to do really well. And we never know which one that's going to be. We just have to keep putting stuff out there and eventually something will hit. So what Felix does is basically he waits patiently and he ignores all the crap you put out, like doesn't work. And then he waits for like the best morsel that like comes out, like does really well. He takes that. So he's not selling one post if you think about it that way, because it might take you or me maybe a month or 2 months to write one really good post. And even though we only spend say an hour on a really good post, like technically we spend like 30, 40 hours to somehow get to that one winning thing. And for him to kind of swoop in and take the best one, in effect, he's taking like 30, 40 hours worth of work from us. Because again, we don't know which one's going to hit, right? So yeah, it's like it just sucks. So for that to finally, get to a point where people got so sick and tired of it that we finally like did something about it. We all like posted about it. We called it out. And then for a major conference to say, well, like we can't platform you at this point was kind of nice. It felt good. But he's still stealing, by the way. He still has no shame. He did not learn anything from this whole lesson, which is whatever. It's not our problem. That's his thing.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I also had some of my designs stolen from him a while ago. Like he basically like used my same template and just changed the colors to ADP list. That was kind of sad.
Yeah, he
Um,
did that with Airbnb. He did that with Databricks, I
oh my
think.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like it's kind of
Their
crazy.
Be
It's
More
like,
conference is the same as Databricks, and their website is the same as Airbnb in 2018.
yeah,
Um,
it's like you expect people to just not know, like not see the similarities. And I think the other really sad thing is like, people, ADP List primarily relies on volunteers to help them with their work. They don't really pay very much, or they don't pay most people they're working with. And there were some stories on Reddit about how some volunteers would put out their own money to like get supplies, order certain services on behalf of ADP List, and ADP List was supposed to reimburse them, and they just like refused to. They had to like hound them for many months before they would get reimbursed for like $100 or $200. And you have to remember, ADP List is also not a nonprofit. They're backed by Sequoia Capital, so they're VC backed. They're a for-profit business. Yet they're not paying volunteers, or not even like not paying them, which is like bad enough, but also not common, like what's that word, not recuperating, but like basically paying them back for the money they put out, which is a little, crappy of them. So anyway, I think we've kicked them enough at this point.
I have more to add if well, I don't know. I had like a really spicy experience with them. Um, since you guys have been here, guys and gals, non-binary pals, um, have been here for a while, I think y'all deserve to know. I feel like I only share this story in real life, but here goes. So, well, also before I get into it, like at Config, actually, Figma Config conference in San Francisco, a lot of people ask me about what I think about ABP list, actually, like for like as design buddies, like so many people because they had a bet. I feel, and also like a lot of people I talk to, especially designers who are more senior, um, like they don't have good things to say about it. But the reason why they asked me is like they also had a bad experience with ADP list, and a lot of people kind of view us as competitors, which I don't think we're competitors at all, but they kind of view us as competitors. In which this is really sad because I feel like ADP list started as like spreadsheet, like a mentorship platform. I thought it was like really wholesome to like help people connect with mentors. But what really made me kind of like burn the bridge between me and Felix was he used to be one of my good friends. Back in 2020. Like he randomly added me on LinkedIn, wanted to collab with ADP Listen Design Buddies. We host a lot of awesome events together, and it was really a good time. I really enjoyed their community. I still like a lot of the people who work on their team and made a lot of friends through ADP List. So I appreciate that aspect. But my interaction with Felix, what happened was they raised, I think 1.2 million from Sequoia Capital, and Felix was like, "Hey Grace, um, I'll pay you $500 a year for you to host 24 events. Make sure to host them on our platform.
Fuck.
Give me all your emails, all your data of our community so we can spam them with our emails and growth hack our email list. And make sure to promote us every week in your newsletter and our Discord server. And make sure you recruit 250 mentors for a sweet deal, $500." And I said no. He blocks me on everything, except LinkedIn. I'm still connected to him on LinkedIn. But I'm still blocked on Twitter. I can show you guys if you want to know.
No, it's all right.
That's
I believe
hilarious.
you. But like, so that comes down to like $25 per event.
Yeah, and he continues to promote ADP list over 1,000 times, almost 1,000 times in our Discord server after, like, for like 4 years after this. So this man, oh, I also met him in real life. This is so funny. He was in San Francisco, and we have a mutual friend. They were hosting a housewarming party, and my friend was like, "Oh, Grace, I should introduce you to Felix. We go both do design." We were introduced, and he gave me the most bombastic side I ever. Like he just like ignored me. I was just like,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Good as you know." I'm like, "Ah," and I got a selfie with him.
Yeah. I don't know. I look, to be fair, $1.2 million is not a whole lot of money for a startup. And like you have to give him a lot of credit. Like he's built something really amazing. It's really hard to build, you know, basically bootstrap your way to what ADP list is nowadays with only 1.2. I think they've gotten more funding since then, but like starting out 1.2 is pretty hard. But $500 per year is a little egregious. That's not a lot, especially because you're based in the U.S. You're based in San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities in the world. Um, we both host events in person. $500 gets us nothing. That's not even like a quarter of an event. Typically, like I would say, most of our events, if it's over 100 people, you're talking about $10,000 in expenditure, like venue, food, beverages, and stuff. So yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
F's in the chat for Felix. AVP list.
Yeah,
Another
like
design plagiarized.
I feel bad like saying these things because like I'm sure like I've heard some good. Let's be fair, because there are a lot of people who have gotten value out of ADP list, who were able to find jobs, who leveled up through it, and they came in at a really good time because of the mass layoffs during COVID. There is a lot of good that comes out of it, and it's also the reason why a lot of people even when I show them the evidence of, he's just stealing like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work from other people, like literally that much money worth of content. Because like if you're writing content post that's getting thousands of likes on it, that's worth quite a bit of money for most brands. So for him to just like license that without asking and then leveraging that, that's worth a lot of money, right? But a lot of people still defend him because of all the good he's done. Like, I get it. And it's also just really amazing that he's like in his early 20s right now and he's built a startup. Like, I can't do that.
He's 28. He's the same age as he's 28. He's
Okay.
like same age as me. Yeah.
So still, that's really amazing. I think like what you and Felix have done in terms of building Design Buddy, building ADP list, that's really amazing. I think most people would never be able to do this in their entire lives, to be frank. Like, it's really hard.
Mhm.
So I think all that is awesome. Like, you should never take that away from somebody like Felix. My main beef with him is just that he doesn't respect content creators because he feels totally okay
Mhm.
stealing from them constantly. And no matter what we do, what we say, how much we publicize it, he still keeps doing it. Like, it just doesn't phase him at this point. So that sucks. But I don't think that like completely negates all the good he's done. It's just a matter of, hey, I wish you would stop stealing from my friends. And
Mhm.
because now you're kind of showing people that it's okay to do this, there's no repercussions from
Yeah.
it. And that's unfortunate because a lot of content creators work really hard to build content, to build their brand, build, something. And for someone to just come in and steal that sucks.
Hmm. Yeah, and I feel like he didn't even take accountability of it. But I really hope ADP list goes in like the right direction because I feel like there's a lot of help and impact they can make in this world, like connecting people with mentors, helping them learn, education. Derek made a comment. ADP list, he says ADP list is so buggy. I still take meetings on there, but it doesn't make you feel great. One time their system didn't work, and the mentee put some angry review about me not showing up. And in general, it just feels like it's barely hanging on, and the mentors are all doing all the work and making the value. After hearing him interview Don Norman, it seems like he doesn't really know anything about this stuff. Hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the other thing that you talked about, how he wanted everybody's email addresses. Yeah, I think that sucks. So one thing that I'm pretty firm about this is we never share, or we don't ever share the email addresses with our sponsors.
Mhm.
Like, we just don't do it. Like, I don't think there's any point in doing it. It's not good marketing. It doesn't really build brand equity, right? So that's a big ask typically. And one thing that I'm also really annoyed about is ADP list has my personal email address, and they constantly spam me, even though I've never signed up for ADP list, and they have no reason to have my personal email. I don't know how they got it, but yeah, whatever. I don't think they respect that kind of stuff. But
You can mark them as spam.
all right, we should move on though. We should talk about
Yeah,
something.
something positive.
Yeah,
Positive.
yeah.
Hmm.
What I think this is a really interesting topic because mentorship got so big because of ADP list. And
Hmm.
I also do feel like a lot of mentors are burned out. I don't think it's as effective nowadays, especially when the market is so bad. And also, there's really no clear way of getting into product design or UX design if you're a junior designer. What should people be doing nowadays? And also, like, if you're a senior designer and you're a design leader, like what should you be expecting or hoping for or trying to build toward so that there's more of a normal, healthy pipeline of talent?
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like from what I can see in Design Buddies, there's just like, oh, I feel like I'm saying this as like someone who's like haven't interviewed in like 4 years, 5 years.
Just like me.
Um, yeah, honestly, like, hmm. I feel like there's a lot of like, so I made a post, I made a couple of posts just kind of asking Manus, my AI agent, to like scrape the web for junior design job openings. And it was so hard to find job
They don't
openings.
exist.
they don't exist. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, this market is rough. Because I sometimes I do these compilation posts on Design Buddy, so I just ask my AI agent to scrape the web. I'm like, there's like barely any design openings. I feel like the market is really rough, and the only people I know who are hiring are startups who want a founding designer, which has an extremely high bar of people they're looking for. So I feel like it's like junior design is like low key cooked. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think unless they, yeah, I don't really know what kind of advice I would give. I would say just like tinker with like AI tools and try to build something with it and just try to like learn coding, learn marketing, learn other skills. But I also like give saying this as someone who hasn't been in the job market in 5 years.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's a not to criticize this in any way, but I 100% agree with you first of all, but I also feel like that's a very unsatisfying answer. Like if I were a junior designer right now, I hear that, I'm like, okay, I'm cooked. Like this is bad,
No, I
right?
mean cooked. I mean like cooked if you don't like. I feel like a lot of companies are looking for people who can use AI tools and like teach the people something new about using tools and stuff. So that's what I would do to like uncook myself.
Yeah, I do think that if you're a junior designer, there is hope, right? Like there are roles out there, and ultimately your goal is to land a job. And if you have to level up to be like a mid or senior designer, at least in terms of the raw skills, that's doable. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's doable. And if you really, really want to be a designer, you can. It's just that compared to years ago, there was some kind of a well delineated path. Like if you do this, you learn this, and you show this, you'll be able to get a design job. And nowadays, it's very confusing. Like it's not nobody has a concrete answer for you. And I think people now have to like figure it out on their own, take everything into their own hands. And it makes it really tough because even if I try to give advice to other people, I just don't know them well enough to to tell them exactly what to do next.
Mhm.
Because we all have very different skill sets. We all have very different like creative ways of getting into tech. So I know how I would do it nowadays. Like if I were a junior designer, again, like you raise parts of my brain like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Another reference. I don't know if you watched that movie.
No.
Oh God, I'm so old. It's a great movie. You should watch it. It's got God, Kirsten Dunst and what's his face? I know his name, Joe. Not Joe. That's that's his movie name. He's the guy who played the mask. Oh, screw it. I'll come back to me. Anyway, I'm just referencing all these movies from the 90s that you have no idea about. Anyway, like I know exactly how I would be able to get a job. Like I know my own strengths, my weaknesses, and some creative way of like showcasing my skill set to find a job. But I don't know how to do that for other people, unfortunately. And I think that's what makes it so hard. Like for example, for you today, if I were to ask you, Grace, how would you get a like your first design job? Like let's remove all your skills, your experience. You never worked at EA. You don't know how to use Figma, but you have to get a job within a year. How would you do that?
Hmm. I feel like I would, well, I don't think this is relevant anymore, but I did a redesign of like Discord. That was like my first case study. Um, I would find the problem I want to solve. I would just
Yeah.
do a lot of like hackathons, like designathons, and get
Hmm.
experience solving a problem and working with other people and the soft skills, and
Yeah.
also building stuff in Figma to solve the problem. Figma's pretty easy to learn, so um, what else? What else? I also feel like, from what I can see on Discord, a lot of people struggle with taking feedback and being self-aware of what they need, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they need to work on. Um, yeah, so I would just like join hackathons. I would um like try to find there's so many like online design hackathons, but also like in person like design jams. Try to get like hands-on experience and see where that takes me. And along the way, like save the artifacts, build my portfolio, and I can talk about them. And hackathons also a great way to like meet people who can probably like you can probably learn from them too.
Yeah.
And like yeah, so I'll just hackathon max. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
That's so funny because I got into tech. So I didn't have a background in tech when I first entered in. Like I don't have a college degree. I didn't finish college. And I got in mostly through doing hackathons. But that was like over 10 years ago. And hackathons were very different back then versus now. Like they all used to be in person, then they used to have massive prizes. Like Salesforce had the Dream Hack or whatever it was called. It was like $1 million in prizes each year. Like the top prize was
Mm. Wow.
$1 million. So that was pretty cool. Like you don't see that nowadays, really. So yeah, I mean things have changed, but that's so interesting that you would go the hackathon route because I would absolutely not do that right now.
What would you do instead?
Oh God. What would I do? Ooh, that's a great question. So I would probably, and this is again, this is not general advice because I don't think this will work for most people. I know this would work for me, perhaps. I would probably try to get into a very early stage startup. So I might somehow try to network my way into YC somehow, some way, and just like basically beg to do free work, which is not ideal. Like there's a lot of ethical concerns there, and that's me talking from a position of privilege, right? Because you do need to work and to eat and stuff. So I would probably be working like odd jobs to make enough money, and then the rest of my time I would try to do free work for early stage startups. But like you
Mm.
have to identify the good ones. Like there are a lot of shitty startups out there that have zero chances of ever building anything real. And you need to find ones where they're actually good engineers, good product people, and they're just missing a designer. And you want to be able to build for them as much as possible. Um, what's really interesting is that like when I got into design, it was so hard to learn anything because YouTube wasn't that big back then. There were like no free resources. I learned it from like reading Smashing Magazine articles, like
Mm.
blog articles on design, which is not efficient at all. And nowadays you can go on YouTube and you can like learn anything you want, and there will be like really well made resources that by the chapter, like fully fleshed out. That back then people could have charged like $10,000 for, and people would have paid it. So I would nowadays I would probably like go on YouTube, learn as much as I can, and then try to network my way into YC and also try to build relationships with senior designers and try to get somebody to help me. So I probably wouldn't use ADP list and it would not no for a few reasons, right? Because ADP list like it really pushes people to do these one time, one off things. And instead I would be doing my best to build relationships with people for long term, uh, like for the long term, basically. And that means like not hitting them up immediately and saying, can you review my portfolio? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Instead, it's like trying to build a friendship first because once you remove the tech component or like the seniority component, you're on equal footing. But because they have more experience than you in design or in tech, whatever, you're kind of asking them for help. You're kind of there's this weird power dynamics going on, and you're not really able to build a friendship with them. And my goal would be to build a friendship first and kind of ignore all the tech stuff, all the design stuff, and get to know them for them to get to know me. Like we have to like each other as people. We have to respect each other as people first before they can truly help me, right? So that would be my goal as well. Um, also nowadays, like you have vibe coding platforms. I would probably be building a lot of stuff. Like I would be using Subframe and Magic Patterns or Lovable or Claude Code, and just like build as much as I can, like the best things I can, and hopefully that'll lead to something. But it's just a very different like process nowadays for me versus say more than 10 years ago. Like back then, we didn't have the same tools, and I mostly relied on hackathons because that was just way more efficient and effective back then than nowadays.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. That's really great tips. Yeah, I feel like sometimes like working for free can, in my opinion, can be okay if it leads to something bigger. It's like
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
only if it leads. It's hard to tell, but if you can specifically use it to get an opportunity that pays high, then I think it's okay. Because sometimes startups, they could be like super cracked founders, but they just have no money, but they're really cracked. Like
I
crack
keep
means
hearing
like,
that word,
oh,
cracked.
that's a crack, like crack 10x engineer, crack 69x
Yeah,
designer.
crack used to mean something very different a few years ago.
Yeah, but crack is like a good thing. Like you're like goaded.
Yeah, I know it's a good thing nowadays, but it was a little different back
You're
then.
like you're like a Skibbity Rizzler, like goaded
Oh
Skibbity
god.
Rizzler, cracked,
Oh,
viewing Giga Chad,
oh,
Sigma.
I feel so old. What Kathy said here is actually really, really smart. You should probably pull up that.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a founder who needs help and work on that project
Mhm.
for free. Like let's be clear here though, because we're gonna get a lot of pushback from people when you talk about working for free, and I agree with them. Like I think nobody should ever work for free, and I say that because I used to work in art, for museums, for artists, and in art, unlike tech, all the internships were unpaid. Like I did unpaid internships for years because it was so exploitative. Like the whole field is like fucked up and super exploitative. So I hate seeing that, and I generally do not tell people to work for free. I think it's super shitty, it's exploitative. Like if a startup founder has any money coming in, they should be paying somebody. But me saying that it's like me saying it from a position of privilege, right? Like I can say that because I have experience now. I have connections. I can tell people to not do it. But knowing myself, like if I were put in that position myself, I would probably have to work for free in order to get my foot in the door. And that has more to do with just how messed up the environment is. I don't like, I'm not suggesting that. I don't think Kathy and you, Grace, or any of us are suggesting that people should be doing this for free. But if we were in a position where we have to land a job as soon as possible and get our foot in the industry, that might be what we have to do right now. It's kind of like an issue of like, well, how do you eat a shit sandwich, you know?
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I also work for free. Um,
Yeah, we
as
all did. Sucks.
yeah, as a design intern in college, just part-time on some apps, some games. They kept calling me at weird hours and just asking so much of me. I felt kind of sad, so I left.
Yeah, yeah, sucks.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Um, but yeah, I know we're chatting for a really long time. We've been diving into so many juicy topics. We still have like a total of like 100 people like on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter watching us for the entire time. So I appreciate y'all. Is there any of the other topics you want to touch on today that we haven't yet?
Oh, I have a question for you, Grace.
Yeah.
All right, Grace, I'm going to hypothetically, let's say we get rid of design buddies, okay? That never existed. We get rid of all
Mhm.
your social media following, and you have to get a high paying job in the 100K range minimum in 1 year. What are you going to do? Like, what field is it in? Are you going to be an
Mm.
actress? Because that's really hard.
Hmm. Honestly, I still have my design skills. I
Yeah, you should
used
have
to
your
be a
skills.
designer. Yeah,
You go
I'll
back
just
to being a
like build a
designer.
portfolio and reach out to. I go to a lot of events actually. Like, I'll probably just like wait if I didn't have a LinkedIn, right?
No LinkedIn. You got to make a new one.
I'll go on
You have to make a
Twitter,
new one. New Twitter. Like nobody
new
knows you
Twitter, new
because
LinkedIn.
like right now people
Mm-hmm.
know Grace Ling, right? Like if you say Grace
Mm-hmm.
Ling amongst designers, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. So let's say you've been wiped from the collective memory.
Hmm. I'll probably just like start over a social media account. I kind of like have a sense of what post does well to grow social media. So
Yeah.
I'll document my job hunting journey. I'll update my portfolio with my past experiences, document my job hunting journey, use my new account to just attend events, reach out to designers, and see what's out there. Just I wouldn't cold apply. Actually, I haven't applied for a job in 5 years. What would I do? Because I feel like cold applying never gets you anywhere. I'll probably like reach out to a hiring manager who posted a job and just like be like, "Hi, I'm interested," and like write like a nice message to them about it. Pass them down my portfolio and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so used to social media. I feel like social media is a great way to find opportunities that otherwise would not exist. And I'll post every single day, maybe yeah, every single day about my journey because people love building in public and just building a following from that.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, so I'll do that. Like I feel like posting on social media help increase your service area of luck and help you meet more people than you can't just like DM one on one about. And also like if you have like something on your social media, when someone you outreach to, they're curious about you, they look at your profile, they see that you're a hard worker and you're willing to learn, which is a green flag for hiring managers. That's
Really?
how I did actually. So like I actually DM'd 400 hiring managers on LinkedIn. So this was like April 2020. I was like a new grad and I was looking for my first job.
Were
So
you
I
a
hit
small
up,
potato?
yeah, it's just a tiny, like a microscopic
Lost
nano
potato?
potato. I was a
A
nano
tuber.
potato.
You were a
Yeah,
tuber.
I was a spore, a seed. I will say that. Um, I I updated my portfolio. I got a lot of feedback from it. Like I just like made everyone roast it and just improve it. And tried. I did a lot of hackathons. I posted a lot of them, a lot of them on LinkedIn. I outreached to 400 people who had the title of like design manager, senior manager, director, VP of design, head of design, design leadership. I filtered by like company and location, based on like company I want to work at, and I sent them like, oh, like hi, I'm a new grad or student, looking to break into design. Would love to like chat about your journey or something like that. I wouldn't recommend. Well, I don't know. People love talking about themselves, so I just like set up some like 15-minute chats about with them, and I like they're like, oh, I'm like, what are your goals? I, like share your goals. They're like, what about you? Like, oh yeah, trying to land my first job. And that's how I got my first job at EA.
Okay, so you you're basically would do only fangs, like what I'm doing. Like 6 months, you would just like work your ass off and like post like build in public, basically.
Yeah, wait, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
OnlyFans, I would do that.
Okay, so I I feel like you're saying you should do a lot of social media, and I feel the opposite because I don't think hiring managers like content creators, like people who are heavy on social media, especially LinkedIn. Like
Oh, interesting.
I've had jobs rescinded when they saw my LinkedIn profile.
Well, how do you know? uh, There's like a feedback. They just
No, they would
how
never
did
admit
they
it.
do?
Okay, so long story. This is with JPMC, JP Morgan and Chase, and you know how like when you go through interview process, the last call is with the hiring manager. Like after the on-site, they was if you do really well on the on-site, they'll schedule a 30-minute call with the hiring manager. And on that call is when the hiring manager basically asks you, like, Grace, how do you think about things? We loved you, by the way. We want you to work for us. What kind of compensation are you looking for? Like, how do you feel about working with us? Like they're doing temperature check, right? They already made up their mind. They want to hire you, but they want to make sure that you want to work there as well before they go through the process of extending a formal offer to you. Generally speaking, when you get to that point, you have the offer. It's just a matter of expressing interest and like aligning on some small details, right? So I've never been up to that point. I've never been through that process and not gotten an offer unless like we don't align on something. Like I would say, well, I didn't like this interview process, or I found out some issues with your CEO that I don't want to, don't extend an offer. I'm not going to take it. That has happened before. But generally, like when you get that call, everything's good. And I I had that call scheduled. Like they basically said, oh, the onsite is great. Let's catch up afterwards. And here's a 30-minute time slot. And then about 2 hours before I was supposed to meet with the hiring manager, the HR person called me and said, hey, unfortunately, we cannot extend an offer to you because you didn't do well in your last interview. round.
Mhm.
And, sorry, but we're going to have to cancel that 30-minute call with the hiring manager. And I'm just like, huh? That makes no sense. Like if they made up their mind to not hire me and that was just a courtesy call, they would have gone through with it, right? But something must have happened where they suddenly scrapped it and then they canceled that next call that was going to happen in 2 hours. And I said, okay, well, that's unfortunate, but can I get some feedback? Because I have spent about like 8 hours with them at this point. So I want to hear like what did I do wrong, right? I want to improve from it. And she said, well, I'll get that feedback to you and I'll call you next week. And then she doesn't do that. So 2 weeks later, I like messaged her again, like, oh, really looking for some feedback. Can you like share anything at all? And she's like, okay, fine. And she gets on the call with me and she's like, look, you didn't do well on the call because we didn't like the work that you showed in your portfolio. And I said, huh, this is round 5. I showed you my portfolio early on and I reviewed it with you in round 2. Why did we go through 3 more rounds if you didn't like that work? Why didn't we just end it then? That's a waste of everyone's time. And I can like hear her like visibly like just like having a hard time trying to like come up with an excuse. So she like just wasn't telling me what was wrong. She was just kind of going in circles at this point. Because I would say, well, like I showed you this early on. Why did we go through this? Why did we do this? Why did we do that? Why did we do that? Like you wasted hours of your time, my time. This makes no sense. You could have told me by round 2. And near the end, she was just like, I don't understand why. She's like, this is so simple. Your portfolio is not good enough. Uh, we just don't, we can't hire you. Why is this so hard for you to understand? Which is kind of rude,
Dang,
right?
guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I kind of knew by then because that's why I called her out. I was like, okay, look, just say the truth. Is it my LinkedIn profile? Because I realized that after they canceled the call, I looked on my LinkedIn and I could see who viewed my profile. And it was 2 of my interviewers. They viewed it right like an hour before they canceled the call. And that was the first time they saw my LinkedIn profile, which to me, it's like, first of all, every company has a right to not want to hire a content creator. Like, that's perfectly, I get it. Like, you might feel a certain way about us. That's fine. I respect that. I think their mistake was that so if you look at LinkedIn, there is no content creator from JPMC. I don't know if you noticed that. There's one guy who does create some content on LinkedIn, but he only posts jobs about JPMC. He doesn't actually write anything of any opinions at all. So JPMC has hundreds of designers, maybe even over 1,000. I don't know, but they definitely have hundreds of designers, and not one of them creates content. So they just have a policy around social media. But they never looked at my LinkedIn profile until it was too late. And then they couldn't tell me the truth, which is, we just can't hire you because of your LinkedIn profile. Like I would have understood. I just really wanted him to say it, but instead she just kept making excuses about it. So like I get it. I'm not faulting JPMC for their policy. I totally respect that. I kind of wish they either looked at it earlier and realized I'm a content creator and just like stop, ended this before we went through like 5 or 6 rounds. And I also wish that they just told me the truth, because then at least I could be like, okay, that's the reason, as opposed to being told, well, my portfolio is not good enough. Like, come on.
Wow. Yeah, that was kind of rude. That was really rude of them. They're
Whatever.
like wasting everyone's time. Yeah,
No.
that's interesting. Yeah. There's like some companies who don't like it when you're a content creator, I guess. I never worked for them, so well, actually, I remember getting a performance review back when I was at my last job saying that so like at least the social media policy that I read and understood it was you can't show anything that's confidential, not on the screen. So I never do that. I never show anything I'm working on. I just did a fun dance in my cubicle, assuming we're just not allowed to show the computer, so I didn't show the computer. They just said I was having too much fun at work and there shouldn't be dancing. It was probably pretty obnoxious, but there's a lot of people who I've heard through the grapevine that kind of like stalk me on LinkedIn a lot and just like, I just know they're watching me. Um, for example, like when I left my job, I got this email from legal saying that I have to take down all of my case studies that I've done. So I have zero work to show in my professional design experience. So if I ever to get a next job, I can't show any of it. But I also have this all approved by my manager before I post it on the portfolio. So basically, if I try to get another job in design, I don't have any work I can show at my former employer, which is my only job I've gotten. Because like right when I quit my job, they were like, take it down immediately. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just know they're watching me. They're watching me because I post content. I don't talk badly about EA. Like I know never. I had a great time there. I remember one time in Clubhouse, they were talking about salary negotiations, and I was giving some advice about how I negotiated my salary, and someone interpreted that as like shitting the company and reported to my manager when I was like on Clubhouse, and it was a reporter. That's how I interpreted it.
Who reported it?
Um,
Like a current EA employee or like some rando who just like didn't like you and like went out of their way to contact EA to report this?
I think it was some random because they
Fuck.
told me it was someone who doesn't work at EA, some hater, which I think haters are just confused fans, to be honest. So yeah, um, there's something else that happened to me. Trying to think. Oh, I posted a post about exactly what I did to land an internship there when I was a new grad, and then a lot of people, someone in the company like really didn't like it, so they reported to my manager too.
I don't understand people. Like, if you don't like somebody's content, you have the option to just not watch it or read it. You just block that person if you wanted to. So they
Yeah.
basically followed you around, watched and read all your content. And the second you said something that they thought they could use against you, they would then go out of their way to find your hiring manager and the HR folks at EA to report you.
Yes.
Man, people are so weird.
People have too much time. I feel like they're just confused fans, you know? They love my content, obviously. They're such a big fan. Haters just confused that they hate us because they hate us. Yes, Erica. They are
Yeah, that's
confused
unfortunate. Like,
fans.
I also feel like it's difficult being a woman content creator. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's easier being a dude, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
you still get weirdos and haters, but it's like it's probably on a magnitude easier and better.
low key, yeah. I mean, like, my TikTok DM requests are just like a shit show right now
Oof,
from like weird men. But we don't have to go there. It's fine. I
sorry.
feel like no, you're good. No. Like it's totally it's not your fault at all. Like it's just
Uh,
a reality. I get a lot of like people like think LinkedIn's for dating sometimes too.
yeah, how do you feel
Um,
about that?
uh, I can. My understanding is like when it comes to certain relationships, some people like to date someone like of a similar socioeconomic status, and that
Okay.
information can be given on LinkedIn. So it makes sense. But I feel like dating and professional life is separate, and some people get confused, or they see it as the same. Um, yeah, I personally don't like it, but I have met couples who have met on LinkedIn, and it works out for them. So I think it just depends on what kind of romantic partner you're looking for. If you judge someone based on their workplace, which no judgment here, but some people do value that a lot, and it makes them love them more. To
Okay.
each their own, I guess. I just think it's weird, but I feel like it could make it's like it makes sense for something. I don't know. I just being the
Well,
ultimate Gemini.
to be fair though, I wouldn't say like if I were on the market today, I wouldn't say somebody's LinkedIn profile or background would make me want to date them more or find them more attractive. It would do the opposite. Like I would find that valuable to know, oh, this is where you work. Okay, I am not talking to you. Like I don't have any interest in you at all at this point. So for me, it's more of like, okay, this is what you believe in. This is what you're interested. This is where you're willing to help and to propagate. in the world. All right, I see where your values are. Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess it's such a touchy topic. And I think a lot of it has to do with just people not knowing how to communicate certain things and they don't know how to not harass people or how to like make people feel, you know, not make people
Yeah,
feel uncomfortable. And that's where it's just so unfortunate. So I'm sorry you're going through all this shit.
it's fine. I mostly think haters are just confused fans. So sometimes I'm like low-key honored they took the time out the day to tell me these things,
Yeah.
even though I don't respond. I get a lot of, speaking of people like don't know how to treat other people. Well, not everybody, but some people. I get a lot of like messages like, "Hey, ma'am, give me job."
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I get that too. And I mean part of that is my fault because I worked as a recruiter. So I'll get messages like, can you help me find a job? And like, I'm like, I don't think you know what it is that I do and how I get paid. Because I don't get paid by finding you a job unless you're paying me. But yeah, it's I don't I don't think it's entitlement. I think it's just like a misunderstanding of how things work. And like,
Yeah,
I get it.
cultural differences. I
Yeah.
mentioned that's where Hong met Trevor.
That's true. I met Trevor on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and yeah, I guess LinkedIn is the ultimate connector.
Yeah, we love LinkedIn and LinkedIn loves you all too.
Yeah.
Hopefully LinkedIn loves us. Hopefully we love LinkedIn.
I don't
I'm still waiting to get a LinkedIn top voice. I don't know how to get it. I want the shiny blue badge because I'm a human. It's status symbol.
Yeah, so Lena got one. Lena
Who's
Cool.
Len Lena? Who's Lena?
She's a design recruiter. You should get her on your show actually. She's really fun.
Ah,
And she
cute.
will I think she'll get more audience members than I would because she will tell you exactly how to get a job and she'll explain all
Mm.
the mistakes that candidates are making. So she's wonderful. And also, who else? Frankie Kastenbaum. She's a designer in New York
Oh yeah.
City. Yeah, she has a
Mhm.
LinkedIn blue badge as well. And I think recently Debbie Levitt got one.
Mm.
And and then that other designer who, by the way, that Greek designer, I don't think he lives in Greece, but he has a very Greek name. It's very long, and his content was the one that was stolen by Felix that like finally pushed everybody over the
Oh,
edge, and
I
he has one as
saw
well. Yeah, so yeah, they're so
Felipe
cool.
or
Like I'm so
something. Yeah.
jealous. They have a LinkedIn blue badge.
Mm.
That's one of my life goals, getting a LinkedIn blue badge.
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT how to get a badge. I feel like it's like mysterious. I asked the LinkedIn team, they don't even know how to get a badge, but hopefully all of us gets a badge. Um, yeah, I
Is
know
it?
it's just a status symbol, but it sometimes there's utility, you know, because people trust you more and they listen to your content more for a badge. But sometimes I feel like I should post too much on LinkedIn to get a badge. Because I notice people with a badge, they only share like industry content, like what I can
Yeah, that's
see.
true.
I just like post memes sometimes. I'm just like my brain is just Grace. I'm just Grace. I'm not Grace the design. I feel like you had to have like a focus, you know, like
Yeah, that's true.
for a badge, like top voice design, top voice. I don't really talk about design that much on LinkedIn. People like complain to me a lot about that, about how I don't talk about job hunting anymore. Like I haven't like really posted anything design career related in like a year, and people have like been pretty mean to me actually about
I'm
it. They're just kind of like
sorry.
gaslighting me and saying that I don't give a shit about junior designers. Um, yeah, like literally, like how I'm not helpful to junior designers. And just like I don't give a fuck. Like, and wait, I actually had like a like existential life crisis. Like I was like literally reflecting on this for like every day for like a week. I was like on the stairmaster like for like an hour each day, just like thinking about it. So my ass, I'm thinking about this, because I care a lot about like our buddies, like community, and I want people to feel like they're being helped or just like
Yeah.
having a good time. Like I like when people are happy. So it actually really hurt a lot when I got that feedback about how I'm no longer helpful for junior designers because I feel like I built my LinkedIn following from just like job content. Like a lot of it came from that. And like as people, we evolve a lot. And I do some like one currently doing now is like I have like a podcast about how creators make money. I do like creator economy marketing stuff. I still do designs. I make cute art. I make funny videos, but I'm not a corporate designer, even though like I built a community full of corporate designers. But I feel like as I evolve, I am unrelatable. And I have seen that a lot. Sometimes like I can see that in like engagement on my content. So yeah, so I was just thinking about that a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to. But yeah, I'm just like low key like rebranding a little bit, evolving a bit. Like I'm like I feel like I said enough things about like how to get a job. There's nothing else for me to say here. Like, yeah. I still sometimes like do like if people ask me, like a friend asks me how I got a job, like I can like help them out. But I don't like put myself out there as like a design job guru kind of person because I'm really not like I literally had one job in my life. I really had three interviews in my life. I'm like not the person who you want to ask about design job, but because of my following, because of design writing, people think I know everything.
Yeah, that's funny because like you're so far off the beaten path at this point. Like if somebody wants to be a designer, no offense, but they shouldn't be emulating your path right now because you're not doing
Yeah,
design
yeah.
anymore, right?
Mhm.
You're doing Grace stuff. And like if somebody wants to be like Grace, then yeah, follow you. But you're not Grace the designer anymore. You're Grace off doing your own crazy stuff. And that's awesome. So yeah, I think people should be following you for very different reasons. Like what you're doing, like if I did what you were doing in my 20s, I'd be so happy. And I definitely made a ton of mistakes doing a bunch of stuff that I thought I wanted to do and I just didn't really care for. So that's awesome. I'm very happy for you. But what's a really stupid status thing that you would like to get?
Uh, Forbes 30 under 30. And the reason why was
Whoa.
uh
You got 2 years
whoa,
left.
whoa. Huh?
You got two
I have
years
2 years
left.
left. Yes. So my friend, I like forgot about this until my friend reached out and asked if I want to be nominated because they were on the Forbes 300 list before. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. I won't like think too much of it. Um, like growing up, I saw my friend on it. She's really awesome, and I was just like, wow, what is Forbes 50 under 30? I was like, I like wanted to be on that list too. It seems so sexy. It seems like
You
epitome
want
of
to be like
success. Like
you want to be like Elizabeth Holmes
no, no, no. I
or
just thought like
SPF?
status symbol. Like I have like low self-confidence, so I need these external status symbols from like a magazine to recognize me, obviously, because I was just like a small potato student, and as a human, I seek external validation in community, and I feel like that would give me a badge of honor to succeed in life. But really, it's not true. But it's true. It's a, I don't know. It's a game. It's a game. Um, and last year, I applied for like 2 years straight. I applied 2023, 2024. Gonna try again this year.
Yeah.
Um, Last year I made it on the short list. So when you make it on a short list, they will send you a form with like I don't know, like 30 questions. And I took my time. I took a lot of time to fill it out. And then I saw the list come out. I wasn't on there. All my friends who made it on the list in the past saying that if I get the form, basically I'm in. But the fact that they didn't respond after the form and I wasn't on the list, I was like really mad. And I went for a 10-mile run to like process it. And I felt better. And then I was like, I'm gonna make a Fluffle 69 under 69 list. Ha. Um, Fluffle's a bunny mascot design wise. I just love Fluffle so much. I put out a form, got like over 100 responses, and I was just like, yeah, that's really cool. But at the same time, like, I don't want to get on their bad side just in case I don't make it on. So if I turn 30, if I don't make it on, there's gonna be a 69 to 69 list, you know? And I'm not even gonna have like, I'll probably have like 100 people on it because people, like, if I don't have, it's like, sometimes like, if I make posts like, here's 10 tips, I put 9 tips, people will like comment on it, like, be like, that's not 10. It was like a good rage rate. So I have like 100 people on my 69 list. I have people above 69 years old on the list. I'm just gonna like make a 69 under 69 list. Anyway, that was like a long-winded answer.
So Forbes 30 under 30, even though there's a high percentage of people who made the 30 under 30 list and then became criminals.
Yeah, I feel like it's because they chase status and they're always wanting more and more and more status.
Yeah, they're willing to
And
sacrifice their own values and integrity to to like make it.
yeah, but I also feel like that there's like thousands of people on the list and not everyone became a criminal. I just know like when I'm hanging out in SF and LA, oh my God, like when people introduce me as someone with like a lot of followers on LinkedIn, automatically the vibe changes and like it unlocks more opportunities because people are vain. In LA, they care about how many followers you have. In SF, they care about how many followers you have and how much you've raised. And it has gotten me featured on the news into more doors and into like look like a lot of rooms that I don't on paper belong in. So like I personally don't care about like what people label me as, but I would use it to my advantage to get more opportunities because that's how the world works. People judge a book by the first cover, and that's how I was able to get into these private parties across like in mansions and SF and LA is because of how many followers I have at the end of the
Okay,
day.
I want to ask you this because
Yeah.
you are more in tune and dialed in. Sorry, first of all, I want to acknowledge everything you've said because I get what you're coming from, and I'm rooting for you to make it to the 30 under 30 next 2 years. If not, then we'll see the 69 under 69
Yeah,
list. You're holding them
69.
hostage. I get it. Um, have you been following series?
Oh yeah, I don't know what happened. They were launching like a Hamptons thing, and they were recruiting like interns to see who can get the most users in like a competition, right?
Yeah. So I've been like glued to the screen on them because I find this whole thing that they're doing fascinating in every which way. Like they got like some $5 million, or is it 3 or 5 million? Whatever. They got millions of dollars in funding, like the most amount funded from any of the Ivy Leagues out there. And the two founders are two black men, which is really amazing because again, like black people don't get funded in Silicon Valley very easily. There are a lot of race issues. Same with women founders as well. So super cool. And they are really, really good at marketing. Like that much is clear. They know how to blow up LinkedIn. They have probably more LinkedIn followers than you and me, even though they've only been doing this for a few months. So super, super amazing. And their app doesn't work though. Like I mean, I don't belong on their app. I'm too old, I guess. But well, I tried to use it. I tried to download it and use it, and it just didn't work because I don't know why. It just didn't work at all. And I do really want to watch the Hamptons House thing, but yeah, like the way they went about it was also really interesting. It's like you have to, I think they had like a short list to begin with, and then you have to like drive users to series to the platform in order to make it to top 10 or something. So I wonder how that's all going to work out. And I think Eunice, I forgot her last name. Eunice, she was like the CMO. She's no longer there,
Mhm.
and I'm really curious what happened. But I'm really looking for the tea
I,
here.
I actually
So
know I know Eunice, and I have people who also know Eunice who also told me what happened, but I can share that with you offline.
okay, cool. Because I don't know, I'm treating this as a reality TV show at this point.
No, Eunice is
But
awesome. Like Eunice, I like Eunice. Eunice is cool, but I just like I don't know. As some people talk a lot, tech is a small bubble, guys, and yeah, I think this is like just what I heard, but I'll tell you offline.
all right, let's go offline because we've been doing this for a while, and I'm losing my
Yeah, this is fun.
voice.
We were just yapping for like 2 hours. This is great, and we had like consistently 100 people watching us like for the whole time. Um, so I'm really really honored y'all hung out with us today. We
Uh,
spilled some tea. Oh, go ahead.
there's one more question from Tanmei. Tanmei, sorry if
Tanmay.
I'm mispronouncing your name.
Oh
What
yeah.
advice do you have for international students entering the market as junior designer? That's really hard. So what I can tell you is that if you're an international student, you typically require visa support or you require international support from a company. And most companies don't really want to deal with this because it costs them, well, it doesn't even cost them that much money. It's extra work for them and they're not really sure how to do it. So it's tough, right? You're basically in a market that's very competitive and there are a lot of designers who are, either US citizens or they have, permanent residence so they can work without the company having to spend extra time and money. And also companies typically reserve the visas, like they only get, a certain number each year, or their legal teams only able to support a certain number each year, and they distribute it across different teams. Typically, those visas or international slots are reserved for, I don't really know how else to say this, but high value candidates in high value teams. And what that means is, like, right now with the with the popularity of AI and how much they're hiring, to data scientists, researcher, like data researchers or AI researchers, etc. Those are reserved for, people in that realm, as opposed to designers. Companies typically just don't value designers that much. Now, in the hiring spree of 2022, when they were hiring a ton of designers, you saw more of that happening. But nowadays, they're moving that toward high need areas and teams as opposed to design teams. And even when they do use it on the design team, they're not going to be hiring junior designers. Typically, they're going for like a very senior designer that they're trying to poach from a company like Instagram or Airbnb, etc. So I don't know what to say. I'm not an expert in this in any way, shape, or form. I just know that it's very, very hard right now. Even if you are not an international student and you're a junior designer, it's hard to land a job. But now you're trying to find a design job that is okay with you being junior designer and is also able to support you in getting, a work permit, for example. That is really difficult. So you're looking at a very small circle. Um, I don't really have a ton of advice. I would say, yeah, let's chat offline. This will require a little bit more thinking on my end, but it really depends on like how much time you have left here. If there's a clock that you have to race against, where you're based. Are you currently living in the United States? Are you living elsewhere? You're hoping to like have them move you here. These are all factors that matter. So anyway, sorry to cut in, Grace.
Oh, yeah, yeah, good. I feel like this is a big concern for a lot of people in our community too. Um, yeah, sadly, well, if anyone, I'm happy to help offer. If anyone's looking for like judge opportunities for O1 visa, I have a lot of people that are looking for judges, so I can help in that aspect of. But I know it's rough, but hopefully I can help with connecting y'all with like opportunities, speaking opportunities, judging opportunities to get O1 visa too. Cool, awesome. This was fun. We've been jamming for like 2 hours all live. We talked about everything from Boo Boos, Tamagotchis, LinkedIn, ADP list. My spicy, spicy topic. It's the first time I actually talking about ADP like in public. I was talking about my friends, but like in public, like the first time, like literally. Um, yeah, job market, LinkedIn, open to work banners, all that stuff. It's like really, really fun time. Thanks for hanging out today, huh?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. I hope people learned something or at least was entertained briefly from watching us.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for hanging with everyone. W's in the chat for y'all Skibby Rizzlers.
Cool. I totally fit in right now.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Skinny Rizzler. I'm like, this is like stuff 12-year-olds say, not even me. Like,
I know. I know.
yeah, but
I know.
W's in the chat, Skippy Rizzlers.